We're live.
Whoa, look at
And
that.
yeah. So hello and welcome to a special edition of the Permaculture Vine podcast. We're live here with Marty Ware from the Garden Creator Hub. Welcome, Marty.
Hey, good to see you, Cormac. Thanks heaps for having me on the show, man. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We did chat a couple of weeks ago now on your platform on Skool. I really enjoyed it. It was nice getting to know you.
Yeah, and you're my first ever person to ever be interviewed on there. So that's a huge thing. For me anyways, because it's just like, yeah, it's just you'll always be number one, right? Like you can never beat that, man.
Oh, you never. So I've been following you for a while. So my wee girl who's now 6, when I was feeding her at night, up for the nighttime feeds, I always had you on and
Oh,
watching you. So I think I commented there a few times when I was up feeding her bottle. That's how I started watching your content. Do you want to just for those who aren't aware of who you are, do you want to just give us a wee 30-second introduction, please?
yeah, well, I'm Marty. I'm a horticulturist, sort of in the agribusiness side of things. That's where I guess that's how I sort of label myself. But it was a mixture of what I do is a mixture of permaculture. I was introduced to biodynamics, and that really opened my eyes. And I started the Marty's Garden channel bit over 15 years ago, just for a bit of fun when YouTube was no one knew what was going on. And then they offered to YouTube before it was taken over. Then it was I think, just being taken over before Google got onto it. They offered me to be sort of in the Google AdSense revenue plan with them. And so I took that because it was something that would help me raising my daughter as a single parent working from home. And it sort of just morphed from there as a small space vegetable gardener that basically had no money, raising a little daughter on my own, and had to start worm farming and different things and growing food on my veranda to to support myself. But obviously, I'd already studied agribusiness and agriculture and hort and all that before that. So that was sort of the test of it all. Did I answer that right? I just
Yeah. there's
no,
no
it's a bit
there's
long.
there's no wrong answers here. Some people
Yeah,
do it in
yeah,
20 seconds. Some people take 5 minutes.
yeah.
Uh,
There's a
well, that's
dog
great.
wagging its tail behind you. You can see like off
Yeah,
the side of your shoulder this little thing going.
the two of them are there playing.
Like the cat, is it? All right,
So,
keep.
permaculture, Marty. When did you when did you first hear the term through your horticulture studies and your
Yeah,
agribusiness stuff? How did permaculture feature in that?
very interesting because in this area where I live, there's a famous guy here called Jeff Lawton. He's not very far away from me. I haven't met Jeff personally, but I've got friends that know him quite well, actually. Daniel from Chicken Caravan, he supplies his caravan chickens to Jeff, and I'm good friends with him. And he said I should go there and visit and stuff like that. And it's been very interesting because when I was studying, especially the organic side in the agribusiness, there was always this talk of permaculture. And I had a few friends that studied permaculture at that time. It was very new. It was sort of a bit before, I guess Jeff Lawton was probably just kicking off then. He had his mentor was the other Australian guy, I think he was from down in Tasmania. But
Bill
anyway, we were all
Bill
talking about,
Mollison.
sorry?
Bill Mollison.
Yeah, Bill. So I think
Yeah,
he was
and
Bill.
David Holmgren, also Australian.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
they were he was like students of them. Amazing teachers to have, right? So anyway, there was always this talk between a few of us, and also in college and stuff like that about it. And the more I looked into it, I started implementing parts of it into my systems because I really liked it. And look, to be honest, when I first heard about it, it was all about food forests and the regeneration of food forests and building these systems that regenerate and keep growing. So it was about trees that. What I first learned about it is that they would drop a seed and then they would regrow another tree, and you were generating these sort of like systems, and there was always this talk backwards and forwards, a debate about whether it was viable as a farming system. So that's all I knew at the beginning, and then it sort of morphed into backyard gardening and growing food different ways for markets, and it's really expanded into itself. So hopefully I haven't gone too far, but yeah, I've got a deep history with it, and I do implement it here at my place.
Right. So just as people get some perspective, your place at the minute, do you want to just tell us about that?
So I live about 50 kilometres south of the Queensland border in a shire called Byron Bay. So it's like if you look at Australia on the map, on the east side, you see the point coming out around about the middle. And they call that the most easterly point of Australia. And that's where Byron Bay is, a very famous place now. I'm in the shire and another small area about 10, 11 kilometres away from there, just inland a little bit towards the hinterland. In a small town called the biggest little town in Australia, is the rebranded at. It's on the sign as you drive in, Mullumbimby, which I think is an Aboriginal name. I don't know what Mullumbimby means, but yeah. And I live, I've got a big paddock behind me, big cow paddock behind me, and I'm on 800 square meters.
Do you have a number of systems in there which you would say are permaculture systems?
Yes, I do. I've got a food forest growing up side of the fence that it's about 2 years old now, and we've got some Australian natives in there, edible natives, so Australian bush foods. One of the most famous ones, the lemon myrtle and a macadamia. And, you know, I've got other things like mulberries. And so I've developed, so I'm developing the bottom tier, the mid tier, and the higher tier. With the bottom tier predominantly is at the moment betel leaf, which is a type of ground cover that sort of grows on the ground, a big heart-shaped leaf that they eat in Asia. Yeah, and so, you know, I'm still building that, but yeah, it's we can harvest from that now. You know, also got like kaffir lime in there, and there's like guava at the back, and then mango, and so yeah, it's already producing food. And then I do companion planting was actually around before the word permaculture came out. So I use a format of companion planting, building biodiversity in the garden, which we were taught also in organic. So this was the crossover between the two sort of thing, and implemented sort of this slash organic system that I was taught in college with some permaculture concepts, such as, you know, like it's interesting because when you study the history of some of these crossovers, there's, you know, similar things going on, such as, you know, like no dig systems and things like that, worm farming, you know, yeah, composting, that sort of stuff. Chickens, you know, like everything in a closed loop system. So yeah, I don't class myself as a permaculturist, but I would probably, if someone said, what do you do? That would be more a label that I would use, because for someone to understand my system. Yeah, because when you say organics, it's just too broad, you know.
Yeah, well, that's so we chat to people on here that actually, you know, you either practice or can help. Basically, permaculture starting. So I think you definitely fall under that. You can help people through your content. So I like your chicken system. I used a deep bedding system, and I have you something similar, but you used hay bales, is it?
Yeah, so I
Your
really like
chickens.
the deep litter system, and I do use that cross between. But yeah, we use mostly. So we've got a new big, since the videos have come out, and we had just the bird netting around, and they'll get scaping and stuff. So we use a big, massive pen now. We just let them out in free range. So, and I put bales in there, and they just jump up on it and stuff and things. But I'm still really learning more about that, how to actually get them into the food forest area and then keep them out of the vegetable patch. And, you know, it's a bit tricky. So, but yeah, I use a lot of the Soteria grass, which we can get locally, or sugarcane if that's optional as well. And that's the biomass that I use.
Right, you use that as the bedding.
Yeah. So we just throw that into the coop all the time and then pull that out. And they can find that they can really sort of move it aside, and they can get to a spot where they want to find a bit of dry dirt. They can still dust bath and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's working out okay. It's quite cheap. It's about $9 Australian for a bale, and it can go. I can do one bale will cover the whole coop. So yeah.
Okay, I have to reset my chickens back up now. I got rid of them. I was going to move house, so I got rid of the chickens.
Yeah.
We decided to stay. Now I need to be chickens back, but I got rid of the coop and everything.
Yeah.
And I
sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I wanted to try the chicken tractor thing, but we didn't really get it set up properly for that. It was a Jeff Lawton model. And that's one of the reasons why I put those big bales in there and sides, but it's just the whole system wasn't strong enough and whatever for it to do that. And it wasn't sort of efficient for my compost business where I sell my compost here. So yeah, but they definitely play a big role in this space. We sell excess eggs as well. That's why we got another flock of chicken, and we're just expanding out the quail now. The wife finally convinced me I said no quail, and she just got quail. So second trial on that. The first one wasn't a success, but that's a whole other story.
Well, funny enough, quail's on my list of things that I would like. So, do you want to tell me why you were reluctant to get the quail?
Yeah. Well, look, we had a nightmare with the first lot. We drove a long way, over an hour, to get them, and they sold us. I think predominantly we don't know anything about quail, the Japanese Courtniks, and they sold us mostly males, and I didn't know how to. I just trusted these people that they were going to give us the right ones. When we got there, it's like the wife's away and all this stuff, and we'll sort you out. Anyway, we got them, and a lot of them died during the transporting. We didn't realize that they were jumping on top of each other. They were chirping, and I didn't really stop to check them properly. And unfortunately, we had about 3 or 4 left. It was really sad. I should have just stopped and checked them, more regularly. But I don't think it was really much we could have done anyway, because they were just so aggressive. Like, we had mostly males. And so anyway, we ended up getting 3 males, and there was 1 female, and then we had to separate them because there's all these issues going on, females to the males, and the males would never stop calling as they're getting older, and they were competing against calling. And I was like, I'm just going to give them away to the pet shop. So I gave them away to the pet shop and thought, this is such a bad experience. Then my wife really wants the eggs because they eat them a lot. She eats them a lot, from home. She's Filipino, and we try and grow as much food from home to help her with that whole cultural thing. And she just wanted to get them again, and she just decided, because I kept on saying, no, I don't want more work. and she just decided to get them. And I said, okay, well, we'll give them a go. And these ones are really nice. We got these. They're all females. They've been hand reared, so they've been reared much better. They're really placid. They're giving us eggs now, pretty much straight away, and they're really quite nice bird. And I was like, well, maybe we'll get some more, if we can get them from the same place, because just the way that they've been bred and reared, and we know that we're getting females, you can tell like the difference by the front. I'm learning about by the front feathers and things, but we've got some white ones that are like white a little bit, and you can't tell with them unless you know how to sort of feel if they're male or female. So yeah, it wasn't a good experience, but now the whole experience is reversing, and it's becoming quite pleasant. And they're not noisy or anything, and we don't have any males. I think they're all just females. So yeah, it's really going really great.
Yeah, great. 'Cause I wasn't quite sure about them because I was basically because of the size and the fact that they were quiet. And then I could breed them because I had problems here. I had I got there's 3 or 4 chicks before, and then we weren't sure. One of them, we were lucky, one turned out a rooster, but it was like it gets light here at say 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning during the summer.
Yeah.
He was crowing at 4 o'clock in the morning. He was at the farm by 4 o'clock that afternoon.
They got like, I can't do it, but it's like, "Put-the-doo."
Uh,
You got half a
so,
dozen of them going, mate. "Put-the-doo, put-the-doo, put-the-doo, put-the-doo."
that's the quail,
Yeah, they're not that
right?
loud. They're not that loud. Like it's not annoying. Not an annoying sound. So I don't think it would bother people. But
Yeah,
just the fact that having too many males, it's too aggressive. It's too competitive. Yeah.
yeah. And then so the chickens now, I used to have it. Any advice for people like who are bringing chickens onto their property for the first time? How do you integrate them?
Well, if this is the third time I've had chickens now, I've got them mostly for my daughter at the beginning, so she had like some pets to play with. And that was my first experience with them. She was about 7 or 8 then. This is our fourth lot of chicken. Well, it's third time having chickens, second time of integrating 2 different flocks, and that the integrating is not working. So we've got them in 2 separate coops at the moment. But just bringing them in, what I've learned is if you've got a good spot for them to live in first, you just got to leave them in there for about 4 or 5 days before you start letting them out, so they know that's their spot. They're used to that enclosure, because if you let them out too early, you got to run around and catch them, you got to take them back, and you got to get them used to that. That's their safety zone. So and just make it as comfortable as possible for them, so they've got a spot to lay eggs, get plenty of water, and sort of keep the water and feed up high so they don't kick all the food into it. And just take good care of them, love them. And there's not really a lot, the chicken, you can get really, really deep into it, but as long as you keep, I'm a whole into that whole nutrition and providing them a good healthy place to live, and they seem to do all right.
Yeah, I had 3, which I think it's a good number to start. And then I kept them in the cage like yourself, but then I would let them out in free range.
Yeah.
But I'd always be in the garden when they're free ranging, so that if they did
Yeah.
go towards the lettuce, I'd chase them away.
Very, very important. Or a chicken tractor. That's how I started my place with 4 chickens and a chicken tractor. And we just mowed the lawn, fertilized the lawn, because we had a open slather spot here with nothing, basically. There was a mango and an old guava, a couple of little things, but they just mowed the lawn and just ate all the little weeds and things and that, and fertilized. And I think that really, for that 3 or 4 month period of them just going over that whole thing, really was a big difference, made a big difference. So we've got the second lot that we just got. I've made my own little chicken tractor thing up, and I'm doing something sort of similar now. And then I'm just going to buy one of those fences and just sort of fence it off so they don't run around everywhere. Because I've just got to be there when when I'm outside, so they don't jump into make damage in the veggie patch and stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned worms as well. I learned a hell of a lot off your channel about keeping worms.
Yeah.
Definitely very inspirational. Was it the world's biggest worm farm? You had the big compost darlings.
Yeah. So they're the biggest worm farms ever models. Yeah, which I use. I've got them connected up to the compost that I make and sell here from home. So I basically got a little micro farm going on here. We sell some little bits of produce, and the compost is the main product, which I'm probably going to open up. I'm just researching at the moment to open that up to teach more people composting, and maybe setting up a little compost business around their place where they live, because I've been doing it successfully for 5 years now. Yeah, and it's the worm integration is where you take it to the next level. You really become. Yeah, other people just don't do it. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the time. They don't have the knowledge and things like that. So, yeah, I find that integrating the compost worms into the compost, or just providing a certain amount of worm castings into it, just brings a whole new life to things. I've never been able to sort of I can make good stuff without it, but when it's got those worms go through it, it just becomes magic.
Yeah, I think too, it helps break the stuff down quicker. So like I told you in your show, I do hot composting and cold composting. So when the pile's going hot, there's always a cold pile beside it. so the worms can migrate on there. Learn that from yourself. So give them always somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And I always try and keep a thought. Well, right, let's keep all the stuff connected, so we can keep them within the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I found out when I had the chickens on the deep bedding. So I started off with a kilo of worms, and then I had the worm tub, and then I started putting worms outside, and then before you knew it, worms everywhere.
Yeah.
It was great too because it was a supplemental feed for the chickens. So what I used to do, so say I had 12 inches of bedding, I would pile that up in the corner, and then the chickens would be in eating the worms.
Mm.
But then that was connected to the side, the composting piles as well, so they could move in and out. And I think that's something I learned off yourself, was give them somewhere to go. And then now when I left the brick in the garden, there's worms under there.
Yeah. No, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like you can really keep it simple and be still quite effective and get really good results. And you can really take it out to the next level of something like what you've done. And that type of information, in my opinion, is gold. I've never seen it really anywhere else online. So yeah, like I said, I might do. I'm looking at it right now about, because I've got my. We haven't mentioned it yet, but maybe we'll mention it later. But I've got the Garden Creator Hub, which is my community, and I'm looking at doing something for the Garden Creator, like to do with composting stuff. But I just haven't sort of really got it all written down perfect yet. But that's the whole thing of taking that knowledge of, the last, say, 15 years of worm farming, and then slowly moving it into the really advanced composting model. But it's really under the keep it simple, stupid method. You know what I mean? Because I've made all the mistakes. So it's like, oh, okay, I won't do that again. And so, I've ironed it out quite well now. So I think it's time to really move with that again. I just got a bit sort of like, didn't know if people wanted it as much, but it seems that there's a resurgence. People want it again. So, and composting's brilliant because as you know, you can close that loop and everything just gets better and better where you live. You know what I mean? It's just, and you see it, the math behind it, without getting too deep, is it's just this expanding. It becomes like a snowball. We're just rolling it down and it just goes. Once you get into that big snowball effect, man, it's crazy how stuff healthy and things grow and all that. I'm just astounded by it. So I'm thinking, maybe it's time to bring it back.
Yeah, because I think it's one of the most accessible, easiest things to do, and it makes a massive impact. And you said the snowball, to me, it was like you compost, put it in your garden, grows great food, which you compost, you eat some of it, compost, grows more food, and that pile just gets bigger.
Yeah.
And
more.
you get more. Yeah. And then when you're creating the healthy ecosystem, your stuff decays quicker than in the compost piles because the bacteria is all there and all the goodness, and it's just keeps going.
Definitely. And you're saving seed as you're going. And so you're going second generation, third generation, fourth, whatever generation seed. Also, the seed can get distributed around. And like someone said something to me the other day, we're talking about, because we're doing the tomato challenge, garden, what is it called? The Garden Creator Hub tomato and chili challenge. It's a bit of a mouthful. And someone mentioned in there in the feed, they said, which is really interesting. They said, when your tomatoes are ready to come up, when you see the wild ones sprouting, that's when you can go and start putting some of your seed in, And so when we're doing these systems that we're talking about, tomatoes are over in everyone's gardens generally. So they just sort of end up being spread around, and you end up seeing wild ones come up. So when the wild ones are coming up, time to put seed in, because the temperatures and everything are right. So that was a really good tip that I just picked up out of my community the other day. That sort of matches into that loop that we're talking about, because you get these wild seeds coming up because we're composting, and somehow they just get moved around. And
Good. That's a great tip. So before we get into the Creator Hub, your own content creation journey, do you want to just talk us about that? Because I think it's something that a lot of permaculture people look at it, and it's a lot of effort. Do you want to just tell us your journey?
Well, I sort of mentioned that at the beginning about how I, started off just on my little veranda sort of thing, and I was already a qualified horticulturist by then. But you know, like the reason being because single parent with my daughter's got hearing loss, and she's also autistic, but she gets along fine. But you know, it was a bit more challenging than usual, so I had to stay home a lot more. And I just thought I've got to find a way to make a living. And so I was basically, I always had a website. I was living in Thailand teaching surfing, come back to Australia. And I had already by then, when I was in Thailand, I had set up a website about small space veggie gardening. And that was the #1 small space vegetable gardening website in the world. And someone bought that and it gave me the money to buy a car. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then it just kept on going from there, you know, but I was sort of in and out. I wasn't full time. I was sort of in and out because just being a full-time parent, pretty, as you know, but you're a parent yourself, it's a lot of work, you know, and my family are a long way away. So I had to do a lot of it on my own. But now it's really becoming something. I was going to leave and give it up and just do the compost and get behind the camera and take more photos. I love taking landscapes and things like that, and I still do that. But yeah, the Garden Creator Hub's given me a new lease of life. So that's the direction that I'm heading now, and I'm really enjoying it. And you're a member in there, so thank you so much. You're one of the founding members, actually, right at the start. So it's just great. So yeah, I think hopefully I've answered that properly.
Yeah, it was just all right. So, so someone who's gardening and who's out there doing it, how do they get started in recording, and how would you suggest they start finding their format? How would they do that?
Yeah, no, it's a really good answer. And there's a million, really good question. There's a million answers towards it. Everyone gets on YouTube, right? And they're like, just start now. You need to do 100 videos. And they're all repeating themselves like parrots. It becomes really boring. And they're like, just start now. Do your first 100 videos. Your first 10 videos are going to suck. Well, that's true. Your first 10 videos are going to suck. Mine sucked terribly, you know, and I got feedback from people and just slowly got better and better. But, you know, I really believe now with the whole world of AI and things like that, and I see other YouTubers come in, and I've seen a few recently. They're sort of doing all right, but they're placing themselves. Hopefully, I'm getting this question right. I'm not getting too sidetracked, but they're placing themselves as the expert too early. And they're not saying, hey, I've only been doing this 1 or 2 years, and I want to take you on that journey with me and show you and share the mistakes and things like that. So I think that's the more authentic way to go with sort of AI these days, you know, coming through and just really just be yourself. Kick off with, like I said, everyone says the mobile phone, they're so good these days. Good little microphone that connects to it. And just start sharing your journey at first and just let it evolve. But you really need to listen to your audience more, you know, and see what your audience is saying, and then use what they call the pull method. So you're extracting out what they want, and then you're giving them that without getting caught up in these whole algorithm things and stuff. And just look at what does the audience want? What are they asking for? What are the common things going through? And just start off by answering those questions. You know, we all do our head in going, what we should create? What should we do like this? Everyone's going around with, and they're good. They just do like, I'm doing this in the garden. Now this is next. And some people really love that. But I think that real thing of listening to the audience is very important, and just getting out and not worrying about creating these beautiful, fantastic videos that have got to have all this, like, you know, B-roll and all this stuff. Just get out there and just start by listening to the audience.
Yeah, good advice. I'm hoping to start something myself, but I'm an analysis paralysis. I'm not just sure where to start.
Yeah, well, in the Garden Creator Hub, we've got 3 or 4. I think we've got 5 YouTubers now, and I'm the only one that I know of that's monetized in there. I'm not sure Leon's got one. I haven't spoken to him. He just come in recently. He's up in Queensland, sort of inland a bit. So I've got to have a chat with him. But Yeah, I think, like just being able, that's another reason why I created that space, is so people can get in like yourself and talk to other people. And I'm sort of connecting them together to help with that. That paralysis thing is very common because we don't know where to start. And then you just, and it's like everyone said, and I said this right at the beginning, the whole parrot thing of just get started. But I think what you do is you go in and you look at what is my main topic that I want to talk about, find where that audience is and look at their problems, and then go, oh, how do we solve those problems for those people? Because they're going to be the audience that are going to eventually, that type, that demographic. And so if you can solve their problems and give them solutions fairly in a simple manner, it just will become what it is over time. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, I think what I plan to do is along the lines of what you're saying. So, uh, so my permaculture designs now I've done over 20 professionally, and it's been like back garden designs.
Congratulations.
So, um, but I have never shown my own garden, and like I
Yeah.
said before, I'm starting over from scratch. So I'm hoping to show the journey from me starting from scratch
Yeah.
with a bit of design experience already, and I've had plenty of systems before, but I never had a cohesive design.
Yeah.
So by going to move house and then stopping has actually been a blessing, because now I'm starting from scratch again. But I'm
Yeah.
starting from scratch with a design. So just want to, I'm thinking of just documenting that process, and
Yeah.
then with the experience of all the consults I've had and the clients, how I address their problems, I can now do that on my own property. Um, Take
Yeah.
people along the journey. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. No, that's a really good way to do it for sure.
Uh,
And then integrate your designs, like what you're implementing next, and sort of somehow show maybe some of the design or something, like as an image or something like that, and go, this is it, there's where we're up to, zone B, or whatever, because in permaculture you have zones, and so you'd be working on different zones and then sort of joining it together to create that sort of habitat ecology system, the biodiversity and things like that. And so I would just bring those four things, those four elements that you want together, and go, this is how we're joining this together. Because what happens in YouTube now, the algorithm feeds what you're interested in. So it's hard to create these ongoing series as much. So there's got to be one point of value in each video, then sort of like and you do have that ongoing series, but if they only come for one video or two videos, they need to extract something out of that, and then YouTube will then possibly show them the next one. That's what I like about Skool, the Skool platform, where you're on and I'm on. We can actually, if people come in and they want to follow us inside there, they can actually follow that story much more in depth. So I'd be more inclined to actually draw the audience out of your podcast and your YouTube channel and stuff over to there, and share that journey inside your Skool platform as well, and create it, get that education rolling and match it into the products that you're doing, sort of thing, and have this sort of crossover, because, sorry.
yeah, no,
That's
that's where I would. I want to have the community over in school,
Yeah.
much like your own community. Uh, so that's your community.
Yeah.
It's up on the screen there.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got, so I think there's 122 members now. There's a few premiums in there, one VIP, and they're the premium ones are doing the Grow Challenge also, and the premium members get full-on access, coaching access with me, um, to help them really move along their journey much faster. But the whole thing, like the internal thing of where most of it's happening, sort of like a free system. So I'm really enjoying it because I can really connect with people much more in a deeper way, sort of thing, that I can on other platforms. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Now, a few people have said to me, "Oh, not another social media platform." But I'm trying to say to them, it's not a social media platform as such.
No,
It's an
not at all.
education platform.
Yeah, it's a connection, like bringing people together. this is what is really great. It's bringing people together, and then you can have educational elements in there, and you can share stories along the line. Like we're doing that with the. I put a little post in there this morning saying, "Yeah, get in there. You know, you're doing the Grow Challenge. Share your stories and your ups and downs, and problems and things like that. And we can, as a community collective, we can look at that problem and go, oh, where's the solution to it, instead of just looking at me sort of the whole time. Because when I'm finding, if you watch any of my live shows in YouTube, I ask them questions. I don't know that answer, the question to that one. And there'll be three people there. They just bring up the answer. And it's just, and even I even learn along the way. But where it just goes, it's just like on steroids over at a place like that. So yeah, it's totally different. It's not like social media or what they call interest media, which is the new thing now. It's a breath of fresh air, in my opinion.
I think it's fantastic. Well, one, I got to meet you. I've been watching you for years. That's a and then I get to I've interacted more on my Skool, which I have only 32 members so far. What than I have on Instagram, Facebook, uh, all the platforms. I've done more on
Yeah.
Skool. And what I really liked about Skool was that you were saying there was a woman on our call, and that was the first time you'd heard her voice.
Yeah.
And
She's been following me for years.
yeah.
That
So
was really touching. Yeah, it was really touching, and it just created that next connection, which I've been sort of missing as well. I was like, one of the reasons I was going to give up the whole thing was because it's lonely being a creator when you're not working with anyone else. I was missing that interaction with people and stuff, and just doing it all on Pat Malone. But after doing that one interview with you, and then Dee was at the end, and we just said hello, Dee, and just the whole thing just come to life. And yeah, it's just I really love it. I'm so glad I found that I found it, and then I've been able to connect with you also. This is just brilliant. We're developing a friendship and a relationship, and I'm here on your show, and you're on mine, because of Skool. Yeah, because of these communities.
yeah. So just to take it back to the start, what is the vision for the Garden Creator Hub? What's it all about?
Well, it's really, I'm still getting together that whole why factor, you know what I mean? Because originally it was bringing YouTubers together to meet other gardeners and create this interactive experience between sort of the YouTube, which was still a part of it. But now I'm learning that there's this educational cohort element where people can go on these journeys together and growing together. And then I want to build out the Garden Creator brand, so and introduce more elements into it over time. So in all reality, it's my journey as well. I'm learning all this stuff as I'm going, oh wow, you can do this in communities where you just couldn't do that. I was waiting for YouTube to do something. They said they never introduced what they were going to do. And it's it's sort of okay, people can comment and drop a photo or whatever in, but but it's just nothing comparable. So yeah, I'm really just into this whole connecting people together, creating these education systems where people can learn and sort of grow together at the moment. And also the Garden Creator, I'm turning my compost business into Garden Creator Compost. So we got our first compost member. I said, hey, are you interested in this stuff? And he joined last night. And he's in Mullumbimby where I am, and he's just one of my compost customers. So yeah, it's just a matter of linking it all together. I'm still learning sort of as I go. But yeah, the Garden Creator brand is really coming together, I believe.
Yeah, no, I really like the Skool platform, and I really like the groups I'm on. I'm on 10, probably too many. Probably have to cut that back a bit. But it's just the engagement with people, and plus the format. So like you have the free tier, so like it costs nothing to come and engage and come and chat and then get involved. But then if you want like basically what more of your time and more of your expertise, then you can pay a few bucks extra. So there is that tiered system. So I really like that as well. So people come and meet different budgets, different needs.
Sure,
it's great. And as you
and
say,
different parts of support. People want to support you more. There's that opportunity as well.
Yeah,
That was Leon. He's one of the new members. But yeah, it's been really great. Can we take a couple of comments or not?
Yeah, what do you want to do? You want to read them out, or
you go for it. If anyone puts a queue, what I do in mine is I put a queue in front so we know their questions. So
yeah, yeah,
I'm going to
and
take over your show. I'm sorry, mate.
hey, work away. It's a collaboration here. So if anybody does have any questions, feel free to stick them in the comments there. Either put a Q or put them in all caps so we can see them there. I have been going through the comments as they come in here. And thanks, guys, for all the comments. It's been really nice having the interaction.
Yeah, well, Leon, I met Bowtie through Mike Van Doozy, his channel, and then Leon's one of the new members that they were just chatting a second ago. He's got his own channel in Australia as well, and he's one of the members over at the hub. Yeah, but sorry,
Great
I don't know
stuff.
what's coming up next.
Well, I suppose we chatted about Skool. I just, again, I think it's great. I would advise anybody on here just to go over and create their own Skool. Or go over to Marty's Skool, which is, again, I'll show it here in the banner. So what's next in the horizon for your own property or for Skool? Is there any exciting updates?
So in the Garden Creator Hub, yeah, like I said, we've got the Grow Challenge, which is the tomato chili grow challenge. So that's the new one. Then I'm going to look at, so that's I think they call them cohort styles. We're doing it sort of together. So that's sort of it. And then the garden here is, I've just been focusing on tropical plants. We've got another, I think they call it La Niña. So it's like we're going to have a pretty wet season again, it looks like. So I'm sort of going to have to start preparing for that. Maybe we'll scale up on the quail if that goes well. We'll see if we can get a few more in that area. And yeah, and just sort of, like step by step sort of thing. So I'm calling it in, I'm just putting it out in stages so I don't sort of overwhelm myself going stage 1's done, stage 2's done. And then sort of stage 3, I'm looking at maybe creating an affiliate model for, I think you saw that thing. So people, if they want to, if they're in the community and they refer people across, they can get a 40%, up to 40% commission. So I'm probably going to put it out at that. So I'm just waiting for a few more to sort of show some interest in that, because you've got to pay a lot more in Skool to run that sort of thing. So yeah, that's really where I'm at. And then also improving my compost business here as well, make it more efficient, and just work. I really enjoy it when my customers come and just we have a chat about their gardens and I'm able to help them one-on-one. That's really important because you just don't get that at garden centers anymore. And yeah, some of them even SMS me and say I've got a little problem or whatever. But and I quite enjoy that either. Also, where a lot of other companies go, oh, that's just a big time waste. You know what I mean? And they don't offer that. Or they go to some AI system or whatever. But those people, they return to whatever you're doing. You're building your brand and things. So at the moment, it's just a matter of slowly moving out of that Marty's Garden branding thing to the Garden Creator stuff. So yeah, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, great stuff. So where I'm focused on my designs is basically trying to get people into gardening, basically as a solution to all the nonsense that's going on in the world, which we can't control, we can't do nothing about.
Yeah,
we're bombarded by all this negative energy, and it's like, well, switch off, and there is a solution. Just plant some stuff. So, where would you advise people to start?
I asked you this the other week. Because yeah, look, what I've been teaching this on my channel for years. People go too fast and they expand out too big. Then they have too many failures and they go, oh, it's just too hard. So I always advise just start off really small with what's manageable, even less than what's manageable at the beginning that you think's manageable, and just sort of expand out. And I like, not everyone likes microgreens, but microgreens and sprouts are probably the best one to start with. Then like baby leaf crops sort of thing. So you might get some radishes, which you can get the radish leaves and use them for microgreens, and they're growing on. You can use beetroot leaves for microgreens and cooking, and then they're growing out, and you can then harvest as a mature crop. So those type of things are really good. And then you look at what I call the B2C crops, which is just your cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, those sort of simple things. So a lettuce, cucumber, cherry tomato with some microgreens that grow on. That's probably the fastest, quickest way. And you can just do that in containers to start out with, or a little raised bed. And then just go, oh, I can actually do that quite easy. That's not stressful. I'm really enjoying that. And then you just expand out a little bit. You might get a worm farm, and then start making your own implements for that to save money. Like you were talking about before, the reason to get started, because it just sucks out there when you're going to the shop and just pulling out your wallet, and your wallet just goes and the food quality just goes and the taste is just terrible, and so you can just expand out a little bit and take the next step and go, oh yeah, I'm actually managing that quite well. I enjoy that. Maybe I'll put in another garden bed, or I'll put in a fruit tree, and then just take it stage by stage by stage, because you're going to make mistakes along the way. And those little mistakes are going to be easier to fix than lots of big mistakes if you expand it out too quick.
And one thing I would say there as well is, if you're not enjoying it, if it's not working, don't be afraid to stop it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ditch it. Don't be saying, right, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And as well, we have basically I was thinking too from a systems approach. So I do have a booklet that's, if you go to the website, it's on there. Basically, how do you look at your property and how do you look at your land? What kind of questions you should ask yourself before starting a garden? Things like what do you like to eat? What is your property? What size is it? How much time you have? Asking these, I think it's $27. Just asking you questions about basically how do you look at your land from a permaculture perspective, so you're not overwhelmed. I know you've moved house, haven't you, recently? So
yeah,
like
so new garden.
All that knowledge you had, you were able to, I'm sure, just build that system quite quickly, because you knew, right, I'll put the compost here, I'll put the chickens there, I'll put, and for you would probably just do that naturally at this stage.
Yeah, made mistakes. Had to change things, re-implement things. You told me about that list when we were talking last time when we were on the show, and I really liked that. I was like, wow, that's really good, because I'm just saying, do this, do that, expand it next to the next thing. But when you've got something to break it down like what you have, that really sort of helps people tick the boxes, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think people that are just starting out in that should have something like that,
Yeah, it's more to me. To me, it's more to make people think about how they approach their property, rather than just give me a list of 1 to 10 what to do.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that inspires them to go and do more research and inspire some thought, and then seek out the right answers. And then if they want help with their site analysis and stuff, I can do that, and a design as well.
Yeah.
Small scale design. So at the minute, and then if they have bigger properties, we do have partners as well. We have affiliate partners who I can recommend as well. Yeah, but it's all there in the Skool as well. There's plenty of stuff over there to learn.
No, I like the idea of the list, and then you can move to the next stage when you're ready. It takes out that whole stress of going, what if I do that wrong? sort of thing, sort of thing. Or what choice do I have here next? So yeah, I really like that.
Marty, any final thoughts before we sign off here? I haven't seen any questions come on there. Oh, what have you been harvesting? Or you put that on, did you?
No.
Oh, that's it. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, I can't see any questions coming on there. So any final thoughts?
I just think, getting back to something that we said before, just this day and age, I think a lot of people are looking at these options of becoming, not the word self-sufficient probably isn't the best word, because it's very hard to become fully self-sufficient. And, to take control of some part of your food input, you know what I mean? And some part of maybe recycling what you're doing on site, sort of thing. And then starting to understand sort of, composting and gardening. And look, even just like starting off with just some herbs in pots, like basil, parsley, those types of things, some oregano, some garlic chives. That actually goes quite a long way. You can actually go, there's a meal you can make called pad kapow. You use the Thai basil, and it's the main element sort of in there. It's a very simple Thai meal that you can make. I just use the sweet basil. We just go in and harvest a whole lot of it and throw it in right at the end with the fish sauce and so it's just basically it's your mince, fish sauce, and soy sauce, a little bit of sugar, and then your basil, whatever veggies you want to throw in. And so, you know, if you go and harvest the basil and you've got enough, you know, like, and that's those herbs I'm talking about, you can use them on tops of pizzas and stuff and that. And you can find that you don't really need a lot to go sort of a long way and actually start saving some money and then get some sort of food control. And, you know, I think one of the biggest problems people are looking at the moment is when they're going shopping. In Australia, we've got a big problem here, and it's not really been spoken about in the media. And people aren't, you know, adults are skipping meals and giving the food to their children, you know. And so this is really quite heartbreaking for me. There's a woman named Kayleen. She's a YouTuber and she's taken over the gardening thing for that reason of just like, I need to grow food to save some money, and then just fell in love with it. And you know, so yeah, just start off small, you know, and just look at it and go, oh, do I really this is enjoyable? Do I like it? And you'd be surprised. You actually start saving a fair bit of money just over time, and the quality of your food experience and everything, and doing it, everything just improves life, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's a pity that people are in these situations. So I'd say to your audience who maybe aren't too familiar with, I don't know what their familiarity with permaculture is, but it's that if you look at community sufficiency rather than self-sufficiency, is a lot easier to achieve. And then you have that sort of social permaculture side of it where people are helping each other out. So again, look that up. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that as well about community sufficiency and just how we interact with each other. Because permaculture, although it is a lot more than gardening, there's permaculture. No, it's the ethics of earth care, people care, fair share, and then how you interact with each other. There's a lot more to it than garden, but it quite often starts in the garden.
Yeah. Yeah, the more you look into it, the deeper it sort of is. It creates a lot of connection between people, land, and stuff. It's really great.
Yeah, and pad kapow is one of my favorite Thai dishes as well.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah, I lived in Thailand for a year. I was over doing Muay Thai boxing.
You know, I got a funny story. Can I share it?
Yeah, share away.
When I was living there, because I was teaching surfing, I had a surf school, and I come and go back from Bangkok, and it was really funny because, you know, there's like the whole ladyboy thing's quite big there, right? Sort of, it's a whole different part of the culture and stuff. And when I was there, the number one kickboxer in Thailand, he used to beat the crap out of everyone, was a ladyboy.
Yeah.
And she was, I think, for about 4 years was number one, man. And I used to go and watch it up in Bangkok sometimes. I never saw that lady or man or whatever you want to call it. I've got to be careful with my words here, but I never saw her box or him box. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I quite enjoyed it. Yeah. So did you enjoy the experience?
Yeah, but ladyboys are just part of the culture, isn't it? It's just normal.
Nobody by a ladyboy?
No, I didn't. I didn't. But I had a problem. Well, I would train hard for a while, and then I would get injured, and then I would party for a week, and then I would be back training and on and off. So never actually got the fight, but it was just a good cultural experience. Came back fit as a fiddle. It's the fittest I've ever been in my life. You get to meet people from all over, experience the Thai culture.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. Yeah,
and you know what pad kapow is. So, what's your favorite Thai meal?
I loved just chicken fried rice, cow pat gai dao.
Yeah.
egg fried or chicken fried rice with a fried egg on top.
That's really good. There's a guy,
Yeah.
you ever experienced the dudes that walk around with the big trolleys and they had the baked chicken inside? And you could ask for some sticky rice and a can of drink with it. Did you ever try any of those? Like
No, I did try the street food. It was supposedly chicken. I'm not quite sure.
it would have been chicken.
Yeah, but cheap as chips. I love was the 50 baht curries. Yeah, every night. So I get like what do you call it? Boiled rice with omelette. It was like 30 baht, and then I would eat a curry then for 50 baht and another curry for 50 baht. It was like 130 baht a day. I was feeding myself for.
It's like $2 Aussie. It's like nothing.
Yeah, and I think my accommodation was at the time was like 130 UK pounds for the month, which was just unbelievable.
Cheap living, in the north,
Yeah.
in the north in Chiang Mai. The king that passed away recently, he had a king called the King's Project. It was a big organic project, and he was right into farming. And they're one of the wealthiest sort of like royalties in the world, the Thai family. And he used to inject quite a lot of income into what they call the King's Project. And you can go up there into Chiang Mai North and have a look at the King's Project. It's just amazing. He was the guy. Now, this is a lot of people, probably some people like this, some people don't, but he invented the cloud seeding, because it wasn't raining up north, and they fly over the plains and let something go into the cloud, and then it rained. And so he wanted to provide food for the people. And also he created these education programs so farmers and everything could create more better, healthy, quality food. And it was all under organic systems. So I got no idea what he put into the clouds, but I'm sure it wouldn't have been too bad because he was in organics. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember it was 2005 in Phuket witnessing the cloud seeding.
Wow.
Because they were on a drought at the time, and I was asking somebody what's that. There was all the cloud seeding. That was 20 years ago. So like chemtrails are real.
It rained, it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
They were in drought, so
yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure how far it's gone. It's gone about crazy with the cloud seeding now. But the international permaculture convergence is in Thailand this year.
Oh, are you going?
2026. I'm hoping to go, but it all just depends on budget. So it's in November, north of Bangkok. Yeah. Yeah, but I would love to really set a stand up there for the podcast and get chatting to people.
Well,
I think it'd be great for the show, but I just need that funding. So I might see if I can apply somewhere and get some funding, some business funding for outreach.
Good luck with that. I'd like to be there too. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. No, it's you have a year.
Okay, let's talk about it a bit more. Yeah,
12 months. I think that'd be cool. Marty, that's been a pleasure as always. That's us up to an hour now. There's no questions in the comment section. So again, I'll show just people to head over to Skool.com, the Garden Creator Hub, and you'll find Marty's Skool there. Marty, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Cormac. Yeah, it's been really, really enjoyable.
Guys, that's been the Permaculture Vine podcast. Hope to see you next week. Cheers.
Bye for now.